Our HNN Chief Investigative Reporter Lynn Kawano to tell us more about her ongoing series inside Saguaro Prison. Lynn, thank you so much for joining me here today. We saw a little bit about Saguaro, and we want to talk more about the story that will be airing right after this segment. It's focusing on the Makahiki celebration. Now, that is happening thousands of miles away from Hawaii. What was it like for you to fly there and witness that?
It was incredible, Dylan. It was like nothing I've ever really thought I would see in a prison for sure, right? In the middle of the desert. It was a lot more just organized and well put together than I expected. You know, you expect in prison, you don't have a lot of resources. You don't have a lot of options when it comes to these performances, but they really did a great job with what they had. And these prisoners are given time to practice. They're given the instruments they need. They even have fresh flowers flown in. They made tea leaves while they were there. This is all something that the things that they do in their free time while they're in prison, but it also counts as credit for their jobs and for some of the programs that they have to accomplish while they're there. It's really a great way to get them to stay busy and to learn to work together. You know, they say that fights dropped when they are able to work together again. You know, they had COVID for 2.5 years. They weren't able to do any of this. So they were really appreciative that they could get together again and do a performance like this.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. But also, this sounds like a very a big investment on their part to fly in all of these things. And so that happens there in Arizona, but nothing like that happens here, right? Why is that?
They do have halaus in prison at Halawa. Obviously, our jails, they're not there for very long. You know, most of them are pretrial detainees or they have short sentences. But when it comes to Halawa and they have longer sentences, they do have halaus, but no program like this that I've ever heard of. You know, this is such an investment. And the one thing about Saguaro, the way it's set up, you can have more of these. It's bigger. There's no overcrowding. The land is enormous out there, right? It's just desert. You could build forever. And they have a lot of rec yards. They have a lot of options to get together, to use the space. And we just don't have that kind of space out here. So it is an investment for them, but they are very willing to do it. A lot of them are learning the Hawaiian language, Olelo Hawaii. They're learning to speak, and they're also learning all of these dances. Some of them had only been doing it for a few months when we went up there, and others had been doing it for decades.
Yeah, all about cultivating that culture, it sounds like. Give us a little preview of, you have one more story in your series about the Greyhound rehab program. Talk a little bit about that.
That's just such a cool, sweet story. You don't have a lot of cool, sweet stories when it comes to prison, but this one really is. Greyhounds, these are retired racing greyhounds. So all they know how to do is to chase a rabbit. That's all they've been trained to do. But when they're retired from the track, they want to adopt. They want someone, you know, the program wants someone to come and pick them up and take them home and love them. And the prisoners are kind of the go-between. They actually train these dogs to be pets. They train them to be affectionate, and they train them to learn when it's time to eat, when it's time to go to sleep, when it's time to hang out and just be a dog, a friend, a best friend. And they are able to do that as a job. This is their job. You have to have a job when you're in prison. And these lucky men who are chosen for the program are able to do it. Some of them, they're all from Hawaii. Some of them have been doing it for more than 20 years.
Wow, that's some innovative thinking when it comes to jobs behind bars. Again, that story on the Greyhound rehab is airing on Saturday. But first, I want to play for you folks a story about the Makahiki that we were just talking about.